Hello everybody, sorry for the delay, but again I I had to wait for YouTube to allow me to go through. So I still didn't find something I was looking for. I didn't get yet to rearrange my craft room, and I do feel good today. It was the first day since the Saturday before last that I actually felt good. I woke up good. I did have to break my low carb diet to get out of it, and I think I know what caused me the distress if it wasn't the antibiotic. Hi Beth, hi CJ, hi Jessica, hi Darla. I had a very weird happening. I normally order being on low carb, high fat. Hi Skywalker. I order off of Amazon Slim Fast. Of course, you can find the Atkins things, but most of the time they are very expensive. And Slim Fast does these little fat bombs, sweetie things that are really good. And a lot of times I find them for much cheaper than Atkins. And last time I ordered, there's a thing that I absolutely adore. It's one of those fat bombs, but it's white chocolate and lemon, you know. So I ordered it, and the guy who delivered it left it at the door, but didn't ring the doorbell, didn't anything. So by the time I got up and I saw that it was here, there are the little packages. Let me actually show you how it looks like. Okay, this is the whole thing, and they have them in different flavors and all that, but the iced lemon drop is the one that I love the most. Okay, and by the time I got around to get them, there are those little packages filled with liquid, and they didn't even taste the same, even if I put them directly in the freezer. But they didn't even taste the same anymore, and I think that's what messed me up, if it wasn't the antibiotics again. So let's get back to our thing. I'm going to do some stuff to show you how to work with inclusions, but and I promised I was going to show you some tricks. But another thing that I want to show you, and I'm going to do a short demonstration today, is the so-called islands resin molds. And they come in different sizes. Of course, you can find them. No, it doesn't. You can find them, and I'll tell you after I show this, I'll tell you why not. It's exactly the opposite. I added them to my Amazon influencer store. You can find them in the resin category, but as you can notice, half of this, there's two that are similar, only on one side they have these little steps, and the other ones don't have the little steps. Hi Gail, hi Colleen. And this is because you first work the ones with the little steps, and then you cure them, and then you pop them out, and you flip them over, and you put them in the ones that don't have little steps. And as you can see, there are various sizes. There are even some that are really tiny, so you can make all kinds of nice earrings. So we are going to experiment. I honestly can tell you that these work better with casting resin. but we are going to still try them. The other thing that you will need to do this, and you can find this also in the Amazon influencer store in the resin thing, are these little gel pads. And what are these little gel pads good for? Well, they are amazing, especially when you work with stuff like this. And these I got from AliExpress just to try them to see how they work. Because a lot of times I get stuff from AliExpress and then I tell Trish, look, this is good, it's a good thing, so she goes ahead and orders for PolyClay play. But with her being in the move and all that, she cannot order anything extra. That's why she had so many sales, so she doesn't have to move as much stuff. Imagine moving all that polymer clay in the heat of Texas. So hi Barbara. So the idea is that when you try to work with open bezels like this, these gel pads are sticky. So what you do, you stick your thing here and then you work with the resin inside it. It's not going to come off. You can be very sure that it's not going to come off. And not only that, but afterwards, after you put all your stuff and you cure on this side, if you have any kind of inclusions, you can, because it's so transparent, you can just flip it over and stick it back under the UV lamp. So let me get this off. You can see that it's very sticky. And no, the stickiness doesn't stay on the things. But before doing that, you can look for something like this. You can then she might not be doing it properly, or she eats too much broccoli. But you can do with any kinds of, just a plain big jump. Let me see actually what I have on the Amazon store, and I've been working on the Amazon store this morning, and I'm going to work some more. But let's see if I actually got this kind of stuff there. I do have some open bezels and things. And give me just a second. I'm not sure if I put any in the resin part. I did update a whole bunch of stuff. It's not here. I have I think 30 something lists. So sometimes it starts being a little bit difficult. I'm not gonna waste your time on this. I'm gonna go again on the Amazon store after the live is over and make sure that I have stuff like this listed for you so you can work on it. Now to get to your question. Hi Chris. To get to your question, CJ, no, actually it's exactly the opposite, because what you have to think of is that you get gas whenever you eat stuff that's fermenting in your gut. And stuff that's fermenting in your gut is generally stuff that's got sugar. And stuff like beans and stuff, so carbs. So if you're on a low carb diet, obviously you are not going to fart so much. It is true that one of the few vegetables, if you're in induction phase, okay, when you lose a lot of weight, is broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage, and that cause gas. But because of the fact that most of your diet, because in a low carb, high fat diet, generally speaking, it's 70 to 75% of what you eat has to be fat. Then about 20% has to be protein, and only 5% has to be carbs. So yeah, I guess she might want to take some probiotic supplements, Jessica, because that's a given. And the thing that you need to be careful with is to eat enough fiber, otherwise you're gonna get stopped up like crazy. All right. So the thing that I wanted to show you first, and remember I showed this kind of stuff on Facebook, and I think I showed it before too, is how to get this beautiful thing. Because it is, I experimented with several kinds, and I tried to experiment with something that wouldn't cost you a whole bunch of money, because obviously if you get like oh gosh, I'm having a brain, talking about farts, I'm having a brain fart. You can get dichroic film, but dichroic film is quite expensive. You can get Angelina film, which is less expensive than dichroic film. And yes, I have both, and I'm going to do a tutorial with that. But the easiest thing to do this with is actually iridescent cellophane, which you might have to go to a store or two, because you don't usually, you find the regular cellophane in the wrapping gift paper, but you can still find iridescent cellophane. And the iridescent cellophane is going to make you get all these things beautifully. Hi Sandra, yeah, and happy Father's Day. I don't think we have any fathers in the chat room, but okay, so let's do this, and then I'll show you, because I know that I got asked. Good thing you just went up. I got some questions on I have problems getting my resin shiny from the mold, and this can happen for several reasons. Number one, the first thing that you need to do is obviously wipe it, because a lot of times you have greasy hands, and the same as if you put your hands on a mirror, see this one is a little bit dull here. If you put your hands on your fingers on a mirror, it's going to be, you're gonna nasty it up, right? If it's still not very shiny, you can always sand it. Remember, you can use the modified pedicure wand, only that you'll have to go to higher grits, at least 10,000, if not 20,000 and 30,000. And yes, those you can find on Amazon, and you can find them in the influencer store, in the sanding supplies, without a problem. The other thing is that your mold may be, you worked too much with it and may be completely messed up. So you messed up your mold. Do you need to buy another one? Your best bet would be to buy another one, but we don't always have money to buy another one. Sometimes we did an effort just to buy this one. So what else can you do? You can get some top coat UV gel, transparent, and simply, you know, paint it over and you're good. You're gonna still have to, generally speaking, whenever you use a UV resin in molds as a casting thing, you're gonna still have to kind of file or sand the very edges, because you're gonna have a little bit of a lip. But let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so my first thing is to get a piece of this. If I can find my, there they are, my scissors. That would pretty much fit in here. And I'm going to make two of them, one of them with some other flakes, so you can see how that works. The thing is that you need to count on making some kind of backing on it, because otherwise it will not look very good. I mean, you're going to be able to see that it's a crumpled thing going in there. Okay, so first I'm going a little bit wider, longer and wider than my whole thing is. And then the other thing that I'm going to do is to trim the corners, round them up, and do the same for the little teardrop. So I already have the length, and again a little bit wider. Yeah, I am quite upset because this whole bout of whatever it was really got me behind the head again right when I was starting to make some headway. And it's still unknown if it was just allergies or if it was any kind of upper respiratory infection virus, because there's a virus going on all over the country, especially now with the masks being down, people not wearing masks. So it was one of the two. Anyway, I was super miserable. I usually get, from allergies, I get maxillary sinus infection. That means that these sinuses are getting infected, not the ones here. And as a result, the whole infection pushes on my teeth. Even the teeth I don't have anymore hurt. It's very hard to explain. And also I had a whole bunch of post-nasal drip. And so I got a sore throat, and that I was starting to get some lung implication as well. So it wasn't a happy time for me. So try to crumple it to kind of get it in here. You'll be able to arrange it better with a toothpick and stuff. Just get the approximate size. All right, let's do this other one. So just crumple, crumple, crumple. The more crumpled it is, you saw I already keep it Welcome, Charles. You're one of the few guys on here, huh? But I know that there are some guys that make absolutely beautiful stuff. And I think that I talked about him before. Let me get to my YouTube. And there's a guy. No, it's something with Fimo, but with PH. Hold on, let me find him. I told you about him, and Fimo tutorials, but Fimo spelled with a PH, okay? And he does absolutely fabulous canes. And I've rarely seen, obviously he works with Fimo, but I've rarely seen so much perfectly keeping the lines. So let me actually get the link to his channel too. Yes, and Clay Zoo is the other one. He does pretty neat stuff. With him though, you can see that he's still a beginner. He's still experimenting. He does beautiful stuff sometimes, sometimes kind of okay, I tried this, but it's not that good. But if you look at this other gentleman, I mean, he does what he does is perfection, absolute perfection. And he does a lot of 3D. As you can see, he does a lot of 3D, and he is fabulous. I love him. He's one of the best caners, even if he didn't do a lot of stuff yet, but he's doing stuff, awesome stuff. Okay, let's get back to our thing. So I'm going to make one just with the cellophane, and another one I'm going to use, what did I do with them? What the heck, I thought I got that one. Oh, there it is. I'm going to use some regular flakes as well. And you can get, there's a lot of people on eBay that sell this, but what you have to be very careful when you buy this kind of stuff, make sure it says irregular. Because, for example, I got this, there was this wonderful lady who had a whole bunch of mylar flakes and cellophane flakes. And she sent me some samples, and you can see this is a sample, but I mean, yeah, you can use this for something, but not for this exact thing, and not for when you're trying to get opal like stuff, because opal, hold on, I'm trying to find my tweezers. There's a whole bunch of stuff in this thing of mine. Where's my tweezers? I'm starting to rearrange some things because I have some very tall paintbrushes here that when I try to play my Guild Wars 2 game interfere with me seeing the bottom right of the screen. What the heck, where are my tweezers? Did I put them in here? No. Oh, this is so irritating. Generally, the tweezers are a little bit shorter than regular stuff. So, I'm getting everything out. No tweezers, no tweezers. So, not in this. I wonder if I put them somewhere else. Hold on. I have two lazy Susans. Not here. Not here. Oh, there they are. Okay, I found some tweezers. So, as I was saying, you can use these for other things, but definitely if you try to do opals, you cannot use flakes that are star-shaped, right? Okay. Then the other thing that I want to try with you, and you can find these also, make sure that you get them irregular. Make sure that it says holographic gold and that they are as large as you can find them. Because the black ones, I also got them from eBay. If you don't find any on eBay, then you can always use the fire opal of ice resins. That is pretty good. It doesn't have the range of colors that the regular black. If you don't find black, you can get gunmetal too. They also do a good job. But what I want to try with you today is to get that Mexican fire opal look. Okay, so let's go ahead and let me grab my, the one thing that I'm really upset, because I was getting ready to show you a tutorial with this, and it's not on Amazon anymore, so I'm really miffed. Anyway, let's go ahead and start working on this. So your first bet is obviously to put a little bit of UV resin in here. And by the way, another thing that I've been asked, how do you get rid of all the bubbles? Let me tell you something. You have resin, you have bubbles. It doesn't matter if it is UV resin or if it is casting resin. You're gonna have bubbles. And with UV resin, you cannot really wait a lot, but one way to get rid of the bubbles, you'll need something kind of like a container like this or something. Place it on, and then you can use an electric toothbrush, even the pedicure wand, even some other toys, if you get my drift, and just touch the little container that's underneath, so you make it vibrate, and the vibrations will make the air bubbles lift. Okay, so I hope you got my earlier drift. Yeah, all right, so let me grab myself a toothpick. There's two things I go through really fast in my house: toothpicks, unscented wipes that I use for all kinds of stuff, including for my facial beautification, and yes, that's the thing. I mean, there are machines like that, but they are around $100. You don't want that. And the third thing that I use a lot is mustard. I eat a lot of mustard. Mustard has no calories unless you buy honey mustard, but I don't like honey mustard. I like yellow mustard. Okay, now let's place our... If you think you need me to zoom in, let me know and I will zoom in the camera. But you want to push a little bit so you won't have bits and pieces sticking out. Let it, and especially at the edges, try to kind of submerge it a little bit. You will still have some sticking out on the back, but don't sweat it. The thing that I tell everybody when they start doing all this craft stuff, they're like, oh, but what if I mess up? You mess up. So you mess up, you learn. Most of the time it's fixable. When it's not fixable, oh well. And sometimes when it's not fixable, you can use it for something else. So it's not a disaster. I'm looking to see if anybody requests the zoom, and nobody did, so I guess you can see very well what I'm doing. And the thing is that with this, it is transparent, so it can be used with UV resin without a problem, right? All right, and I said that on one of them I'm going to use other flakes. So let's give it some crystal opal on this one. And then I will show you another trick if you want to make it look like a milky opal. Why do I use more flakes? To break the fracture. And I'll show you here in a second what I'm talking about while these will be curing. Usually they are kind of cured after 2 to 4 hours, but on most of them it's at least 24 hours. On some of them it's 48 to be fully cured. And Honestly, I don't mind waiting myself. I know some people are more impatient, but myself, I don't really mind. Alrighty. So now you fill this up entirely, and of course you don't have to make these as big as I made mine. You can make them with much smaller molds. Let me see if I need any more. This one needs more. This one is relatively full, but I can use a little bit more. But remember, there are things that you can use with casting resin that you cannot make with UV resin, especially when it comes to colors and inclusions and stuff like that. And I do have some tutorials in the making with some casting one. Now here I did put some extra flakes. Here I'm going to actually use some of the interference glue. Let me grab a little. So and no, you don't want to mix it ahead of time because you want to make some swirls. Hi Cindy, it's okay. Just make sure that you mix all of it. I got a piece here that keeps wanting to get up. So remember, these swirls will be in the back of the cellophane. But I guess you can already see, and I'm sorry, but the camera doesn't show entirely how pretty these are. Yeah, and that is depends on how much. It's a give and take, you know. You lose, sometimes you lose. You can see right away, but it's not gonna be as pretty. That's the only way that I can describe it. Okay, you need to get back in there. So at this point I am in need of another, hold on a second, because I need here, I got a spot where I need to push from two sides to convince my cellophane to stay where it's supposed to. And see, I have, because the cellophane has resin here, I have a little bit of an empty spot, so I'm going to use some of the ice crystals in there. And you can do that even on the other one, whenever you see that you got some empty spots, especially on the edges from the cellophane not reaching all the way to the end. You can place a few of these. Okay, so I think that this is good enough. Grab myself I need to bring some aluminum foil here. And I guess I emptied my, oh come on, I started twisting as I was cutting. Okay, now we can go ahead and get it in the lamp. So this is how they look like. I told you I'm going to try and change the lighting, so once they are completely done, so you can see much better what's going on. Okay, so this is number one. The next, of course, you can put on the back, you can put black polymer clay and bake, but you can also use black UV gel. And as I said, this is a top gel, it's a transparent gel in case I get any kind of mess ups. Now for what I'm going to try to do with those island ones, because I'm going to do with the casting resin, I'm going to do gemstone looking like stuff. But with the island ones, what I'm going to do today is to try and achieve a type of beach look. Yeah, see, the problem, Lydia, is with the alcohol inks that you need to test the alcohol ink ahead of time, because some of the pigments in the alcohol inks are transparent, translucent, but some of them are opaque. And if you mix an alcohol ink that's got an opaque pigment in UV resin, that resin is never going to cure. Trust me, I had to throw away molds because of that. It wouldn't cure, and I couldn't clean the mold. So that's why if you look in my Amazon list, and I've said it many times before, when you buy pigments for resin, actually let me open it. Yes, I'm going to run the lamp on this twice. Let's go back to the display. So you can buy resin that's already colored, you know, like this GDO one, and there's more in the pigments area. But as I explained before, and it's kind of explains the order, casting resin, hard and soft, then all kinds of other resins that are not epoxy, they are polyester and fiberglass and stuff, and then hard UV resin, soft UV resin, colored UV resin, and UV resin pigments that are all transparent. You see here, transparent dye colorant. And these are actually for polyester resin, but they work just fine in UV resin. They'll have no problems with it. But generally speaking, when you want to buy a pigment for UV resin, I said it before, and you're gonna hear me repeating because not everybody knows, and some people just got on the channel. If the bottle is colored, it's not for UV resin. If the bottle is black, it's for UV resin. It's simple as that. And then all kinds of little things to try, the little gel pads, disposable syringes, disposable needles that are blunt, that work very good with this kind of stuff. Yes, you can use regular brushes that you can clean in alcohol. Another thing that you'll find here, besides all the measuring cups and stuff, there are little humidity meters, then all kinds of little torches, and then of course UV lights, lamps, and all these molds. So let's get back to what we were talking about. One is hard and one is soft. I did before soft resin comparison. I showed that some of the resin molds have details that are kind of like inside, and if you use hard resin on them, it's going to be bad because you're going to break it. It was with, hold on, let me try and find it. Because I showed with UV soft resin. It wasn't that long ago, at least it doesn't seem to have been a long time ago. That long time ago. Might have been longer. Let me actually search for soft. See if it comes up. No. I forgot how I named it. Okay. There you go, I found it. Okay, this is it. Yes, it's bendable. And as I said, I was preparing some tutorials and stuff. Yeah, the one with the fish. Okay. Let's get back to this. I'm going to unmold them. And sometimes when you have a whole bunch of inclusion, even if the inclusions are transparent, you might want to get these back to make sure that, because as you can see, this mold is not very transparent, so flipping it over, it's not going to make that big of a difference. Other molds that are way more transparent, it works to flip them over, but like, see, this one is, you can see my fingers through it, but not this one. So yeah, it's kind of hard to find the casting resin in soft. I found it. I found a good one with Sophie and Toffee, but it's in Europe, so you know, I didn't get around to work with it yet, but we'll figure out something real soon. This is almost done. Okay. Okay. Yeah, some resins turn yellow. And that's why it's a very good idea, honestly. Some of the best casting resins are the ones used for all kinds, and that's why you'll see some in my influencer store. Stuff used for boats and surfing boards and stuff like that, because those are made to be in the sun for a long time and to be affected by the weather and everything and still look good, right? Okay, the soft resin, I'm gonna tell you something though. The soft resin is mostly used by people who make fishing lures. Well, they use polymer clay too, but okay. Let's get back to it. As you can see, there is a little bit of imperfection on this one, as well as on this one, but I'm not going to start sanding right now. And see, that's what I was telling you about. See, there's little bits of stuff coming off. Your best bet is to use one of those little cutters. That's what I use for my jewelry, for wire cutting. That's used for electronics. Now we're gonna see a big difference. Yeah, the art resin is great. And then there was another one, I forgot the name right now, and it's not on Amazon anymore, unfortunately. Hold on, I'm trying to grab one of those gel pads. And I know I'm going to do something right now that is not very, I mean, not right now, next, that's not very kosher, because I cannot find my black UV gel. So I'm going to use regular UV gel, which might attack the resin, but you know, oh well. But first of all, I'm going to go over, because I don't want to spend time sanding right now. I want to get some really nice looking stuff without having you wait too long for it. So I'm simply using some top coat transparent UV gel. Yes, I said that I'm going to show you next how to make it look like a milky opal. Yes, it might, but it's still going to yellow out quite a bit. Okay. While that is going on, what do you want to do first? You want to do the island ones, the next faux opal, or the inclusions with this? Up to you. You'll let me know. There's another resin called crystal. That's the one that I think is not. Yeah, I have the art resin here, but I think there's a crystal thing, and I think that's the one that I couldn't find anymore. I think it's so adorable sometimes, you know, because there's some European stuff, and there's this Italian resin, and they have the label on it, on the thing. It says 2 parts A plus B, and obviously they mean fast curing, but it says fasting curing. I'm like, oh, poor resin, it cannot eat anything. Okay, opal, fire opal, island. Almost done here. I touched that gel pad, and I pulled these out a little bit. They are hardened. Okay, and the next thing that I'm going to do is mostly to show you how the whole thing, but as I said, don't do it like I do it with regular nail polish, because it might attack the resin over time. Actually, why did I get this out? Because I want to put these on. But I need to show you how it looks like, right? And by the way, this is the stuff that I use. You've seen me with the, oh, how they are called, cat's eye effect on my fingernails. I did have a couple tutorials with that, but it looks the best when it's over black. So, oh, come on. And of course, you need to first sand off the edges, but that's not something that I'm going to do right now. Right. And it's not going to look perfect because I'm not going to sand the stuff that's sticking out, but you'll still get the idea of how it looks when it's completely done. And you can use regular casting resin if you want, colored black, of course. I'm trying to color all this little stuff here. Oh, I'm fine with any of them. I don't mind any of them. I'm just trying to go through as much as possible before I start hurting. You know the drill. And I'm really miffed that today I completely forgot about the fact that it took me a while in the last few times to get on YouTube to start broadcasting, because as you can imagine that everybody and their mom is out trying to broadcast over the weekend. So sometimes I'm here waiting and waiting and waiting for YouTube to tell me, oh, you're live, you can start, you're connected, you have a great connection. It's much better than it was in the previous years though, honestly. Okay, we're gonna have to wait for this. I don't think so. I don't think so. It wouldn't do the same trick as the black does. Let me get this out of the way over here to let them dry properly. And let's work with some smaller stuff to do. Number one, let's do a Milky opal. So again, I'm going to use some of this, and let's do this one because it's a little bit larger, so should be easier to see what I'm doing. See, why you see me doing like this is because those paintbrushes are in the way of the bottom right of the screen, and I cannot see the live chat properly. That's why I said I need to make some changes around here. Okay, so to do the Milky opal, because the whole deal here is to get it to have a, yeah, you have that tropical storm coming. I thought that it hits more Alabama, Louisiana and Alabama. Let me actually check. Give me just a second. Let's see. Let's all look at what's happening on the radar. You don't really have anything yet in Florida. There's no anything, but I thought that it's going like this over Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So you're good, no tornadoes. Yeah, it happens. The molds turn yellow. You see, these ones are older and they are more yellow. I mean, it's, oh well, happens. We all turn yellow and more yellowish when we age. We change colors. So I'm going to first put a little bit of just plain UV resin, and I'm going to give it a little bit of this interference blue, not a ton of it, because if it's too much of it, it will still not, it will interfere with the light. And then I'm going to use a little bit of white, this is the black, white resin. Okay. Which is not very white, it's more of a milky thing. And then give it a good mix. You're gonna ask me, why don't you mix it first in a cup? And why should I dirty a cup and then waste a whole bunch of resin that stays in the cup when I pour? This is UV resin, I can mix it right here. I can mix it very nicely right here. No, that shouldn't have absolutely no effect on the cabs. Especially if you're using casting resin, not. Now on this one, I am going to actually use first a few of the ice crystals, and then I will put the cellophane. Why I like the ice crystals is because they are fairly large. I don't like the Lumieres because they are too tiny. I mean, yeah, I know that there are Sunfire opals that have very small flashes, but I honestly prefer the ones with more flashes. Alrighty. Now it needs to be a little bit smaller. And get it in. Now, as before, as I did on the other one, only that, no, the UV is one part. With the two parts, you have actually the resin itself is one part, and the other part is the hardener. That's what makes the resin go hard. And then some of the, again, of the interference blue. I almost got the violet. Not a good thing. And again, let's stir trouble here. And yes, on this one you get the interference blue on both sides, and actually I'm going to place some white as well. This is something I need to buy more. Some of these you can buy separate colors, not just sets. I'm gonna have to look for. So here you don't have to come back with the flakes, just make sure that you get the white and the interference powder in all corners, even if it's no flake, no cellophane in that corner. Okay, now I'm going to put this in the UV lamp and see if the other ones are dry, so you can take a look at them. Let me cover this up. They are sticky. Are you ready? Ta-da! But remember that I didn't get with the black all the way in all the corners. But let me refocus so you can see better. And I might change the light a little bit too, so you can see. Okay, there we go. Let's see if I make it less bright. This is more like natural light, what I'm trying to do here. This is more like natural light. See how the interference blue interferes with and makes it look a little bit even more mystical. I hope you like them and you'll try them yourself. And you don't even have to use these, just with the cellophane, and it will be absolutely gorgeous. Let me give it another. And you can see that the colors change and you get all the flashes, and I can show it to you even at a very close look. It still looks beautiful. It's like you cannot really say what's in there. It's like there are crystals in there, and it's the same for the old one. So I'm gonna look now at the other ones. But as I said, with this light that I'm using for tutorials, it's a little bit less visible. Okay, let's see now the Milky opal. That needs to go back. See here, it didn't do a very good job. There's some flakes in here. When you have something like this, your best bet is to get it back in the mold, back in the UV lamp, and then you'll be able to, you know, just scrunch it like this, and all the pieces of resin will fall off. See, like here, there's a piece of resin. You can just take it out. Alrighty. Let me put this in. And I'm going to do again the same. Where's my... But of course you can use whatever mold you want for your cabochons. I'm just using various ones. Okay, and this needs to go in the lamp too. Okay, what next? The Mexican fire opal or one of the islands? Are you gonna try one of the islands? You want to? See how it works? Let me grab one that's... Let me grab this one because it's big enough to see what I'm doing. And for this one, I'm actually going to have to use a little cup. Because we did 2 opals, so we can go ahead with an island, right? Alright. Before I start though, and again, this would look much better when I do, but see, talking about cleaning this is the best way, because you just do this. And I am just folding it over the... But of course I can work a little bit more on it. But see how it comes like this. Let's go back to the islands. But before we have to look at this. And it's the same on the back and on the front. And me again change the lights. Get a little more focused, refocused. There we go. Because all that white resin is going to partially hide the fact that these are actually flakes, and at the same time it is transparent. Some of the flakes will still show through the transparency, but because it is not fully transparent, you have all that pretty milky opal look. It's not domed enough here, it needs more UV resin, but it still looks good. You get the idea. The important part is to get the idea of what you're supposed to do. Okay, now let's get back on the bright and cold. And so what I'm going to do first is to mix some UV resin, regular UV resin, right? Okay, here's one, and let me actually do two different combinations. All right, for the first one, not red, sorry, I'm going backwards. I'm going to use a little bit of brown resin in it. The other one, I'm going to use some yellow. And actually I'm going to add just a pinch of brown, because that is too yellow. And it should be in the mica powders. You should find it there. And then I'm going to use some gold interference powder in the yellow, and some red interference powder in the brown. And this is the violet, this is the red. Should be actually several kinds of, you can even find the ghost powders. Those last for quite a bit. Okay, let's do a good mix in here. Okay, so I'm going to start pouring first the gold. So I need to pour a little bit here. Then see, this island has two ends. Oops. And then some here too. And let me get some more of these because I don't want to waste resin. Let's do the teardrop. And I think I have some more for this other teardrop. Because remember, this one gets to be upside down. Because after I'm done, I'm going to lift it from the mold and Turn it upside down. Make sure it goes in all the nooks and crannies. Yeah, ghost powders are interference powders, only they are made by the Black Diamond company. They are essentially they are for car painting with all kinds of chameleon and other stuff, but they are awesome. I mean, I've been using them in a lot of things, and you can get kits with all the, they have more colors than the Perlex. They have green, and they have copper, fuchsia, pink. So, hi creepy kitty. I got some creepy kittens by myself. Okay, I'm gonna do the one at a time, and in the meantime I'm going to use it for the other one as well. Come on. Still waiting. Well, I promise you, whatever I don't manage to show you today, I'll show you next Sunday. How does that work? Because I've been on for almost an hour and a half, yay. I'm really getting back on track. Huh. Okay, are you done already? It's supposed to be a minute and a half. I think that my UV lamp is going nuts. I'm watching the clock on the monitor. But yeah, let me check on the influencer store in the meantime with the mica powders. Okay, this one. And then I'm gonna do this other one while I'm looking at the mica powders in the store, and I'll switch to display here in a second. Mica powders. Alrighty. So you see there's all kinds of holographic and other stuff that you can use, and it's great for resin and it's great for polymer clay. Then there's all kinds of, see, this is interference gold, interference green, violet, another green. This is mink. It's another beautiful color that's a chameleon, like violet, red, and another blue. Depends if you want a smaller one or a larger one. And then there are the kits and some other interferences. So that's quite a bit of, let me see the quantity. So this one is half an ounce for $9. This one is 3.5 ounces each pouch. Hold on a second. Oh, this is a way better deal. It's true it's $25, but even going by, because it's $25 for the whole set, right? If we go for $9 per half an ounce, it's more for just one of these to buy the Perlex. Okay, let's get back to work before, and then we'll look again at the at the list while this is in the... Oh, you use them on polymer clay without a problem. Okay, now let's go ahead and pour a little bit of this. And the thing is, you're gonna tell me, yeah, but how do you manage to do it with all, it looks quite opaque. The interference powders are actually fairly transparent. I might need another color for this to fill this one up. I don't have enough. If I get it just for this, then it's going to be enough. We'll see. Oops. Oops, I made a mess. I made two messes. Because you want it to be full up to these little... I'll show you, I'll get it in closer so you can see better. I'm just starting to make messes. Okay. I'm good with this, and this I'm going to use as is. But I need to clean my table. Yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff that I've shown. If you look at I used the Premo marketing colors, not this. But if you look at my faux labradorite and faux moonstone made of polymer clay, yes, those are with interference powder. Get out of here. And you'll see how, you'll see in this one, you'll see exactly how it looks like when you have two different ones compared, two different colors compared to when you have, so I took it out, I flipped it over, and now I'm putting these in this other, the one that's empty. So this is pretty much how it's supposed to look. Oops, sorry. All right, so while the other one is going, let's go again on the mica powders. So these are regular, and you see you can get them separately. Some of them are more expensive separately. This prism, it comes and goes. Sometimes it's for sale and sometimes it's not. The Prisma 65. It's absolutely fabulous. Fabulous. Okay. Then the vivid primas are fabulous. Then there's some perfect pearls. I don't have all of them because on most of them, when you go on them, it's going to show you more colors, and most of them you can find them also with PolyClay play. See, that's why I don't have more than 2 of these. Then this is the decorum. No, it's not the decorum, it's another one. This is the decorum. There are other mica powders. The Lumieres, the art ingredients, that's Prima Marketing. And that's the iridescent. They have the iridescence and the peach opal. And the blue opal, I don't think that they make it anymore. No, they don't make it anymore. I'll have to change it to something else. These are the ghost ones, the ones that I'm telling you that are for cars, but I've got the set. You can get all kinds of little sets from them. The Slice of the Moon is also a very good iridescent. And then the black, there's 10 ghost colors. This is the black diamond. It's $20 and you get a whole bunch of them. These are the ghosts. That's interference practically. And then there's some glow in the dark and all kinds of other colors with mirror effects and all that. Okay, let's get back to our thing here. So let me get my messes first out of the way. Okay, this one was still a little bit connected. Okay, now let's take it out. And see, it looks different when there's 2 colors. It looks much better. But you don't have to do 2 colors. You can do just 1 color. Now we are going to do, let me throw this away because it's all kinds of colors on these toothpicks, and get me new toothpicks. And as I said, I'm going to show you these to make gemstones with casting resin in a separate tutorial. And one of the things that you might want to get behind is, what the heck, I keep pressing on this, is also from Prima Marketing. Trish has it. I think I have it too. Let me see, in my influencer store. It's glass glitter. Let me see if it is on Amazon, if you can find them on Amazon or not, or you have to get them from, no, you can find it from Amazon. And especially because I'm planning on showing you how to make all kinds of whatchamacallit, the geode stuff with resin. You want to get at least one, because you can find it in ice resin and you can find it in Prima Marketing, the glass glitter stuff, and there's a few other ones here, because those make absolutely fabulous you know, exactly the geode, the druzy part of the geode. Okay, let's get back on this. Let me get my peepers and some of the blue here. So I'm going to make some look a little bit like an ocean, some look like more like jewelry of sorts. I mean just shattered stone if you want. So let's go with this one, and this one work it as islands, lagunas, stuff like that. And I will show you some surprises, but all of this you can find in the influencer store without any problems. I always forget which of them is deeper. I think that the is the lapis. Yeah, the lapis is deeper. So just mixing it here, nice and easy. Remember, there's some here too on the other side. But I want to have it first nicely mixed. Yeah, I'm not on the right screen. I cannot see what you're saying. Yeah, and you can find them in the influencer store. Yeah, the glass glitters are great, especially in resin. I mean, you can use them with polymer clay too, but in resin they are irreplaceable, if you don't mind me saying that. So you want me to zoom in? Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see better what I'm doing. There we go. There we go. So for now I've been simply getting some stuff from here to there. And I need more resin here. And I'm not fully filling it. There's a reason. And you will see why here in a second. I still need more. More resin. What did I do with this? So let's let it be for a little bit. Let's get back into this one. And I'm going to use a lighter blue on this one, maybe a smidgen of the darker one, just a smidgen. And yes, if you absolutely want to, you can mix it before pouring. I just don't want to get too much stuff dirtied and too much resin wasted. That's the whole deal. Just a pinch more. And then we're gonna do the effects. Well, I'm not fully filling because of course I'm going to put something in here. And yes, you can find those somethings in the influencer store. Can you see this? I got a itty bitty jellyfish. It should be a link there, but it's there's a link in the About tab. There's a link in the Facebook, and I can give you the link right here. There you go. And yes, these are in the influencer store too. Okay, let me see what I want to use here. Critters. Critters, critters, critters. Let's see, I want one that's not very thick. So this should work. Maybe one with the wider. This is too wide. This should work. They should work just fine. And let's put a tiny one in this one too. No, thank you. Okay, let me get them back in here. Can you make your own? I guess so. Hopefully I'll be able to show you how. I dropped one. Oh, I dropped it one. And there I did my exercises for today. Oh. That was yoga. Okay, and the other thing that I want to put in here is itty bitty starfish. So I think that one there should be okay. And let me find a small one for here. Oh, well, tell her to watch this and she'll see how to use them. Okay, get this all the way to the bottom. Now I can use a little bit more resin at this point, but hold on. I'm going to actually add a little bit of the blue here. That starfish started swimming. Let me add a little bit here too. Then my next thing, after I bring all this, you want to bring your blue all the way on this island's edges thing here. Now the next thing is I'm going to grab again some of the white and I'm going to just put one drop. Oops, that was too much. That was a lot to drop. I didn't intend to use that much white, but I'm going to just get it here like that. And then the trick is to not get too much UV resin on your hands. And be very careful. If you ever manage to get UV resin on your hands and you go outside in the sun, you're gonna burn your skin. Because if you worked with UV resin, you've noticed that when you get it out of the UV lamp, it's hot. So if it starts curing in the sun, it's going to burn your skin. Alright, I'm going to try and see if I can do the whole thing, but I'm not entirely sure. I need a newer bottle and a new. I'm going to do a little bit of waves thingy. You know that Laguna look thing? You want to let very small drips, because the clear resin is going to kind of replace the colored resin. It's going to create like little bubbles. Are more clear, you know, like the difference in, well, you get those waves in a lagoon water. Hold on, I cannot see myself. This is bad. Okay, let's get some on this one too. It's not very noticeable right now, but once it's going to be cured and out of the mold, you'll see it. And I hate that starfish. think it's better than anybody, and I just don't want to stay down on the bottom. Okay, let's get these in the lamp. Alrighty, now let's make this jewelry stuff. Throw these away and get another piece of wax paper. Alrighty. And because you're asking if you can use pink. Yes, you can use pink, but not on the opals. And there's some pink resin I got, and there's some red resin I got. So we are going to make some different stuff now. This is almost empty. I'm squeezing the last drops. Okay. Look at me, what? Yes, I've been on for almost 2 hours. Unbelievable, huh? Alright. So, I forgot which of these is the red is the strongest, yes. So let's give it some red here. The other one, there's something I didn't use yet. Let's do the forest green. No, it's kind of too light. And the regular green. This one is light too. Oh well. Going to have to work. And of course you can leave them like this. I mean, they will be gorgeous even if you don't put any kind of inclusions in there. They will still be fabulous. And they will look very much like some kind of gemstones. Just keep restarting the UV lamp. Let me see, I'm going to make an experiment. I've never tried these yet in the diamond dust. I didn't try it in UV resin, so I have no idea how it's going to work, but I am going to try it. I'm just curious. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Oh well. but it's glass, so kind of should work, huh? This is not the best thing to pick this up. Let's see what it's going to do. Trippy, huh? But it's going to be pretty. I am sure of that. Let's see. So I just put some of the diamond dust in there. Not even sure if you're going to be able to see it as and for the other one, it's something that I want to try. These are these little bubbles that are quite iridescent. I hope they don't get lost in translation once you put them in the resin. But let's see how the whole thing looks like, if you can even see them. Oops. Okay, I made the mess. I got some bubbles that went in here. Oh well, let's get a few in here too. Let's see how that's going to look like. And the other thing that you can try, if you have any of the rhinestones that are meant to be used as inclusions in resin, because they don't have a colored back, they are completely transparent, you can try those as well. I'm not even sure if you can see these. Well, excuse me, I guess we'll just have to see. In the meanwhile, this is going to, the other ones will definitely have to be put back in backwards, right? Flipped over. There we go. Yeah, it needs to be flipped over. It's sticky. It's a little bit sticky. And the other one as well. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to, once that I get them, let me put them in here. Lots of stuff. Okay, so next time we're gonna use the other opals, and then I have some other inclusions that I want to show you, and of course to work on stuff like this. And in the meantime, I will fill up the influencer store with anything that might look like this that you could use. There's also bezels, if I'm not mistaken, and let me check so I wouldn't talk out of other orifices, but if I'm not mistaken, Mod Podge has some open bezels. Bezels, all bezels. There are some, Trish has some open bezels, and we're gonna do some tray bezels as well. So it's a kind will work with some steampunk stuff. Yes, she's got some heart pendants, but I will, as I said, I will fill it up in the influencer store. Okay, so normally what I would do on this one, I would make it another little bit of a dome here, but let me see, I don't know how to show it better. It is super beautiful. Let me refocus stuff here. It needs another layer of resin that would be doming over. See it? So however you want to. And the other one. And another thing that I would do, and I'm going to probably do on it, I'm going to sand off the edges to make them more delicate, but I'll definitely dome this. So yeah, that's not good focus. There we go, you can see. And if there is any air bubble in this one, you don't really care, you know, but obviously it does need sanding, and it does need better taping, definitely. Zoom out. But yeah, they are gorgeous like this. I love them. Okay, let's see these ones now, if we can even see my bubbles or not. Just all kinds of experiments. They'll probably need to get in the... Yeah, it's sticky. This one is sticky too. Just you're gonna have to wait a minute or two. But it's going to be adorable. So yeah, definitely on these I need to dome them and then do some of the working on these edges that are too abrupt for my own personal taste. I like them a little bit more rounded. So yeah, next time, as I said, we're gonna do the Mexican fire opal and maybe a, I don't know, we'll see, just Mexican fire opal. Then how to fill this kind of stuff with all kinds of inclusions, and some closed bezels to make sure that I have enough, you know, stuff to, because that's why I wanted to go with you through several types. I already showed you, hold on a second. How to do the little flowers. Ah, ow! I hurt my hand, my toe. And these you can find in the influencer store as well. But let's take a look at these. This one I went overboard with it. I filled it too much, definitely. It's got an interesting, almost... Okay, I need to close up. Almost like a honeycomb texture where I have the... You can see I overfilled it. But see the bubbles? The glass bubbles? They're interesting. Probably they are of more effect when used in clear. The diamond dust is interesting too. I think it's more interesting than glitter, honestly. Because, let me refocus here. So you can barely see that it's there, but it does create effects. But once again, this needs to go off, and I prefer these rounded up, so I'll have to sand them off rounded. But yeah, this was fun. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And but yeah, it kind of looks almost like a honeycomb stuff. Next time we'll play with some more resin. All right. And in the meantime, hopefully I'll be able to upload a couple of tutorials too, because I'm behind. I do have one that's almost finished that was supposed to be published this past week, but I was sick. Sorry. Okay, thank you so much. Don't forget to thumbs up, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. I'm slowly starting to get back, so we'll have fun. Okay, have a wonderful Sunday, what's left of it, and happy Father's Day. Bye. I love you all, and thank you for being here with me.